This is our thimbleizer. We got some inspiration for this project from the digital washboard, which you might have watched the video for earlier this semester. And they kind of use strips of copper kind of plating and then they put it down on a washboard. And we kind of changed that and put some screws so we can kind of pluck it almost like a different kind of instrument. We have copper wires that we can then pluck. And the way that it works is that instead of just like a binary switch, we just have a voltage run through this wire and into the thimble. So when you make contact with the wire there, it finishes the circuit. So we have 12 triggering different notes, and then we have a foot pedal which can trigger different patches that we play to. Then we have more controllers here, which we have two rotary potentiometers, which we actually replaced slide potentiometers, which were giving a lot of noise. We found those to work a lot better. We have some rotary encoders, which took some thought, some effort to actually get to work.
One of our goals for this project was to do some different sounding scales. One of our scales is called tone scale. One of our scales is a 24 tone scale.
We have some ethnic scales as well.
So this is just a scale basically. And it was modeled that using
Another thing we did with these to give us more control is that we worked something in Max that kind of did, it was a timer that sensed how long we were in contact with the wire for to give us velocity, which we originally thought would be better if the longer we held it down, the higher the velocity would be. Then we thought it was more kind of natural to play with just touching it would give you a higher velocity to let you play louder, and then if you wanted to hold it, the notes longer would give you softer.
So for example, if I just tap it, or it's that's pretty loud, but if I hold it. So when it sees a velocity of 127, it starts the timer, and when you let go, when it sees a velocity of 0, it stops the timer and scales that value. The maximum time is only 500 milliseconds. We didn't want you to have to hold your finger on there for like 2 seconds to get the minimum possible value. Second one is the 24 tone. The third scale, the third patch is the Japanese scale.
There's a way to fine-tune pitch samples. So you can fine-tune every note in the scale so that it's non-tempered. So basically we did that for all of these scales except for the first one, which is just the blue scale. So for example, this is the 24 tone scale. If you look at the second note, it says plus 50. That means it's 50 cents above the previous note because they're the same sample. Basically, I had to do a little bit of research, and there were some resources that told us like what the intervals were, like in frequencies of like different scales, and we looked at the numbers and fine-tuned them those numbers.
And we actually have a presentation mode, which makes it a little easier to see when you click that. There are actually two messages that get sent when you click the button. The first is the MIDI channel for the sequencer, so there are 4 N and XTs, and the second is the MIDI channel for the effects. This patch really only controls the rotary encoder. So the rotary encoder is a little different. It's not, you can't just read the value like a rotary potentiometer. It sends basically node-ons between two different nodes. So we had to make some kind of weird logic that would allow us to change the offset.
We had to look at the pattern of how we changed it, what the pattern was, whether we're turning it left or the right, and associate different values with each pattern. You couldn't just look at one turn either direction to really determine anything from it.
they're basically four values. We're collecting the last note that we appeared, the last velocity, and the current note, current velocity, and we're encoding those as a sum, and then selecting based on the sum whether it's staying in one place or we're increasing the range or decreasing the range.
It works pretty well. Sometimes the rotary encoder just doesn't follow the pattern that it should follow.